Alright, I wanted to come on here because people seem to be interested in these Regal Maybell guitars just as much as I am. And this one's really, really cool. This guitar came to me from someone who had actually seen a video of me playing this Maybell guitar and comparing it, I think, probably to another Maybell or talking. I don't know. I made that one. That's one of the first guitars I actually ever like rebuilt from the ground up, and it's due for sort of a revamping now, which is part of the reason I've decided to part with this one, which is actually in many ways a better sounding and performing guitar than that one, because I took what I learned repairing that one and restoring a bunch of other guitars and applied it to this one, and this one came out excellent. I've changed it, but I haven't changed what's essential to this guitar, which is it's a light guitar. I think this guitar is just around 3 pounds. I'll look it up. And these guitars are extremely lightly braced. You see these guitars, like it says Maybell up on the top. You see these, I'm relatively confident these were made by Regal, because you see Regal badged guitars with this exact same body and the same looking finish and the same looking sort of neck carve and appointments and all that kind of stuff. So I'm relatively sure that Regal made at least these Maybell guitars, these small body guys. Short scale, about somewhere around 24 inches, a little bit shorter than 24 inches, all these. It's sort of frustrating because they also had the dyed fingerboards that crack apart and are trash. And so this has a replaced maple fretboard that I've, colored with the aid of modern wood technology. And I think it blends in quite well and really matches the nature of this guitar, because it has this matte aged finish, and I think the replaced fretboard blends right in. Brand new frets. I actually took the back off of this guitar. These guitars are sort of under braced in the upper bout and want to kind of fold themselves in half. So the alterations to the bracing I've deemed necessary and actually quite good improvements are, I put a big top lateral brace, a big flat wide brace under the fretboard so you don't have it collapsing in. And I put 2 braces that go on either side of the sound hole, because this whole area is unbraced otherwise. And from the factory they have 2 braces that sort of go actually like this, where one of the ladder braces goes sort of like this, and one goes sort of like this, so they come out. Boom, boom. Theoretically leaving this, well, not theoretically, yeah, leaving this part of the top able to move quite differently than this part of the top, bass versus treble, right? This is more open and this is more closed. If you think about it, I suppose. But whatever, that's a typical, you see that on guitars going way back and other instruments, that kind of bracing that's not just the straight parallel ladders. And there's not a whole lot of other bracing. There's one brace up here, that's it coming from the factory on these guitars. So over time, that's not enough really to hold steel string tension. And I actually think the sound, because I've played these not rebraced or not adjusted, right? And I've played these adjusted, and I think the sound really comes out better when you've stiffened this upper bout. Also, there's carbon fiber rods that run, 2 carbon fiber rods that run through this neck to make it very, extra stiff, because there's no truss rod in this guitar. And I figured when I had the fretboard off, I might as well, make this neck as stiff as it can be. Though it's a thick neck. It's not particularly wide at the nut, but it is quite round and quite like beefy, but not V'd in the way that guitars from this period can be sometimes. A very round but big, a handful. Not as big as say like old Gibson, but but you realize it's bigger than, say, this other example, which is actually quite a slim neck. This is almost like an electric guitar kind of neck. Anyway, the variations. It also has new tuners, which are like the Stumac replacement things that they, you know, whatever their branding of their replacement. I think they're Golden Age, or is that what they're called? Something like that. They're the Stumac replacements, and they're all right. They're pretty good. They do the job. But what's really striking about this guitar is just how absolutely full and bright present it is. And it's a great size, and it's a great thing to have in your lap because the whole thing is very alive and old. And I love the feeling of a light guitar with no truss rod. The whole experience is different than a modern guitar. Anyone would know that's played and messed around with these old super lightly built parlor guitars. Anyway, that's just a little rundown on this thing. I think it's tip top. I think this is truly one of my favorite style of guitars for sure. And I think in the future I'm going to be making my own version of certainly this size and bracing pattern, or experimenting with it. Maybe even making my own things that I call Maybells. We'll see. I don't know. That's a bold thing to put out. I don't know. This is what I'm thinking about.